What's going on, everybody? Is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and host of HBCU Pulse Radio, in the building for another special edition of the show on today, where we are talking all things College Hill. Literally, listen, I'm just glad to be here because what was going on with that episode yesterday? BET, I thought y'all stopped us from reviewing it. Like Kiya, I thought they said we are done with the reviews, the write-ups, the all the conversation. I thought it was done with us, Kiya. How you doing today?
I'm good, Randall. How are you?
Man, I thought it was over. Like Kiya, I honestly thought we had to go watch the old College Hill and review that at this point.
The whole college hill is crazy. They said y'all ain't gonna say anything about us again. They said let's shut it down. They said
Like that was wild.
shut it down.
We got folks from College Hill that actually do watch the show. Shout out! If this was actually Dr. Frazier, because folks be playing games and stuff like that.
Man, also shout out to Dr. Frazier because he watched us.
Yeah, like
Love
Dr.
Dr. Frazier. Dr. Frazier, I don't care. He be dressing down every episode. I don't care. He puts it on every single episode. He comes to work, looks fly every single episode. I love Dr. Frazier.
Yeah, so listen, so shout out to Dr. Frazier if you're watching us. Hopefully, we made you proud in this interesting socio-political discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you comment. I got some questions for you too that we're going to talk about as we talk
No,
about
literally.
season 3, episode 6 of College Hill Celebrity Edition. Kiya, the Build Better Lives Act of 2024, also known as the BBL Act. Kiya, when you heard that, what was your first thought?
Not gonna lie, I screamed. I screamed because I'm so sorry. I don't care what no one says, but we as Black people are so funny because who would have thought about that? Because I was listening, I was getting dressed because I was watching it when I was like on my way here, and I was like, oh, I like what they're talking about, and they're talking about some BBL. I said, you know what? I can't even be mad at it. I'm just so happy that they really put some thought into it. And the way Carlos broke it down, because I'm like, what does doctors do with BBLs? They build to make people better. I said, you know what? You got the spirit. You got the spirit.
Man, listen, that like Carlos was doing an impromptu 85 South Show segment with that one, boy. I tell you that much.
No,
Like,
that had me chuckling.
man, when I tell like that, like that's gonna be used on the next season of Wild 'N Out. They're gonna do a song about it. You know what I'm saying? But when they did the presentation, because it was teased in the last episode, and then this was the class they just had so many issues with, even though, to be quite honest, it was not that challenging. And the reason why I can now definitively say it is that they did it. They literally did it.
Yeah.
It was a solid enough presentation, and they ended up doing a really good job. And one thing I talked about in my recap was that at the beginning of the season, you have Carlos Miller that's arguing about homelessness that just could not understand the other different points of view. But here's something I think that maybe people did get this, but if they didn't, I want to say this. Listen to the methodology behind the bill. The BBL bill, the Bill Better Lives Act 2024 bill, is implementing what a lot of what Carlos said in his arguments, saying that it's not on regular citizens to deal with homelessness and putting taxes on goods such as boats, expensive cars, cigarettes, etc. So Carlos was really the MVP there because his opposition, and this is what I was trying to say in my first recap that I did of College Hill, the first episode, is that I thought at the time that Dr. Frazier was sort of smiling like, oh, they're getting it. This is a good discussion. But Dr. Frazier actually was smiling like, what in the world is going on here? That was what
He thought they was like going to get the fight in there because it was so much going on in the room. But no, like, it's just, I honestly can say that I love how Carlos has like changed over the course of these episodes. He's definitely become like one of my favorites. Yeah, but their act was really good. I feel like they made it harder than what it had to be because that was a quick little. And we probably gonna get into this later. But when they learn that they can like email the teachers about the assignments, it's like a light bulb went off. That's what they're there for. That's really what they're there for. That's why they got office hours. And maybe they didn't like come right out and say it, so they probably thinking they have to do this solely on their own. But that's what teachers are there for. They're there to help you. You just don't see them in class. Like that's why they have office hours. At least for me, I stayed in my professor's office hours. Even when he didn't have them, I was in his office because I have some questions. Or I was sending emails. So it's like, I'm glad they were finally able to get it, like you said.
Listen, shout out to my math support teacher, Miss Alderman, because I was a math support student. Because I'm a writer. I
Math
write
is
books.
hard. Math
Yeah,
is so hard.
I know. Like, listen, when I with the SAT, I took it one time. And the one time I took it, I'm a writer, I'm a voracious reader, published a book, but when I was in high school. So the writing part, the verbal part was easy. The math part was tough. And like literally, I had to take the compass test that doesn't exist anymore to get into Fort Valley. I just took it twice. I can say it now. No, I took it twice because I failed it the first time. And then the person that administered it, I'm not going to say their name, was like, take it again. And then like, I took it again. I literally passed by like one question and I got into Fort Valley and I said, I'm going to take it over. And like my math support teacher was Miss Alderman that knows my family, that's from Macon, that worked with my aunt because my aunt was a college professor. And she said, I know you, Randall Barnes. I'm like, she know me. What the world? And literally my freshman year, I was in her office for office hours. I ain't had no assignments I need help on. I know I was gonna fail. I knew I was gonna fail them. So it's like I ain't need no help. I go to tutor for that. She was my therapist for a little bit. So listen,
Oh yeah, that's what they're there for. Because like sometimes we go into college because there is a certain level of responsibility because we're now adults. But that's why teachers are there to help you, and it's not just about the actual assignments. Even especially once you get into like that junior senior, those times and those years, and even if you go to grad school, because you still need some direction. Because once you have a degree, yeah, you have the degree. So it's like, okay, where do I go from here? And these are professionals. These are professionals who've been doing so many things, and now they're like, okay, like now I want to teach. So it's like they can really guide you.
we got to talk about this, right? So we get the midterm grades, and that was a huge part of the
Whew.
episode. And that always has been a part of College Hill Celebrity Edition because there's always opposition to these different shows, especially about the Black experience. And I'll even say this when it comes to BET. And in my younger years, Kaya, when I was a big quad watcher, because I love the quad, and then the quad was my show, all right. And I brought them down to Fort Valley, all this different stuff like that. So when the quad was on season one, Dr. Harvey, Dr. William Harvey, who was the president of Hampton for 50 years, right? He wrote an article, an op-ed about the quad, and he just was going in on the quad, talking about it's not an accurate reflection of the HBCU experience. He specifically talked about it's been a movie and we haven't seen them in class. And then, of course, like literally, they already had this film. They were in class with Whitley. Okay, they were in class with Jasmine Guy's character. So it's like, Dr. Harvey, you didn't really watch all of it, sir. But like, I understand we're very sensitive, and we are as well, about
Mhm.
the perception of HBCUs, right? So one thing I will always applaud College Hill for is that for all the Saucy Santana hijinks, and we'll talk about him, for all the craziness and the they want to go turn up, they always center it in, hey, they're doing what they do, but this is real schoolwork, and these are the grades. I really like that they do that,
Mhm.
and I think that should be commended because they could easily not do that and just say, hey, here's the assignment, here's the experience, and then they move on. I do like that they do that. But Carlos Miller is at the top of his class. He has a 3.5. Tamar Braxton and Claudia Jordan both have a 3.25. Now, I predicted that Claudia would be up at the top and she would possibly be a valedictorian. All right. And I also predicted that Angela would too. So we're gonna talk about Angela. So let's not talk about Angela here. We're gonna talk about Carlos, Tamar, and Claudia. All right. So how do you feel
Mhm.
about Carlos Miller being the top student at midterms?
Honestly, it's like I'm really not surprised. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because college reminds me of one of those students who complains about the workload, the assignments. This is too hard. Why we gotta do this? But do the work. And you want to know why I know that student? Because I was that student. I would complain so much about why I gotta do this. I'm about to drop out. I don't want to do this. Like I would complain, like because at some point, like you get so tired. Like the workload is crazy. Like you've been there. Like college is hard, and depending on your major, like the course load can be very demanding. So it's like, yeah, this is hard, but I'm still going to do it anyway. And especially when you find something that you're passionate about, you're going to put your best foot forward, even if it is hard, even if you don't feel like doing it. Because from what I heard, he don't have no missing assignments. So yeah, he was complaining the whole time, but those assignments were getting done. He wasn't like some of his classmates that didn't turn in some stuff. From what I heard, he turned in his work all the time. He wouldn't complain while doing it. So I'm not really. And then he was able to find different classes and different assignments that he really, really enjoyed. So when that happens, you're going to put your best work out there. So I'm honestly, I was surprised at first because I did think it would be Claudia, but I'm also, on the other hand, not surprised that he has the highest GPA.
Sort of shocked, not because I don't think that Carlos is intelligent, because I think that number one, being a comedian, especially the type of comedian that draws their comedic inspiration from living and life and relationships and things that people experience. I think that there's a level of intelligence that goes with that. Because I think that when we look at comedians, we think about the roasting people, the cracking. But if you're talking about a stand-up set, which Carlos Miller is
That's
a
hard.
successful stand-up comedian, it really does take a level of intelligence and a propensity to understand life and then take it through a comedic context. And then now, like, you're making it funny in your own way based on your unique experiences. So I knew that Carlos was intelligent. And that's what really, even he saw my tweet when I talked about it in the first couple episodes, that he wasn't showing it. And his opposition to the homelessness bill and assignment, it just was really concerning, because I just sort of expected more. Because I knew Carlos, as someone that is a fan of Carlos Miller and the 85 South Show and Wildin' Out, and seeing him in more serious conversations, especially about relationships. Because one thing you cannot tell a black man about is relationships. Tell you that much. So, like, especially a black man of a certain age, you cannot tell him none about relationships. So, like, essentially, I understood, like, it comes to relationship stuff. He feel the way how you feel. But for something as sensitive as homelessness, it was sort of wild to me. But like you said, he underwent a growth. And I want to sort of, like, they call it inside baseball. Like, we're mass comm folks. Like, we have degrees in this. So for me, I wonder if it was as pronounced as they showed it. Was Carlos sort of giving just the pushback and the other side of it? And he might have really felt that way, but he wasn't as demonstrative as they made him seem, and they want to do this redemption arc? Or was it actually like that? Because it is a clear redemption arc that was shown, that really the big part of that redemption arc was him going to the Covenant House and seeing that young black man, like I said a couple weeks ago, that got into an accident, an 18-wheeler hit his car, and he was displaced. Because he like homelessness, yes, but I think the best way, in my opinion, to say what happened to that young man was he was displaced. You know what I mean? So, like, for me, I think that woke Carlos up and sort of helped him understand the other side of issues and to open his broader mind of understanding. And we saw him and Angela White. They went to the Covenant House and dropped some stuff off. I thought that was an amazing moment, probably one of the best
Yeah,
moments of the
for sure.
season to me. But I do see, for me and for us, when we look at the final product of College Hill Celebrity Edition and the edits they made and all those different things, I think they want us to see the growth and the change, but I see it. And I think that it was marked by that visit. I was sort of shocked just because of how demonstrative he was. But it's too much work. I see what Ray J dropped out when Ray J didn't drop out. I explained that last week. But also, one thing that was, I think, interesting to me is that I'm not surprised at the same time, because, like you said, like, Carlos been talking his talk. He been saying this stuff. But Carlos, from the beginning, was in every class, because you gotta be in class to argue.
Every class. It's always that one kid in there with his book bag on who comes to every class. Like, it's always one. So Carlos was that one. Like, don't go nowhere without that book bag. Clearly, there's some books in there because the grades is proving it. Like, he got his work in there, so he's doing something. So I was pleasantly surprised. But then, like you said, on the other side, he's very intelligent. So in that way, I wasn't surprised. But yeah, good for him.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what it's not good for. Saucy Santana, because they're trying to get this redemption arc. Oh, Saucy
Child.
Santana. Saucy Santana's in this music class, and now he's gonna learn. Listen, Saucy Santana had a 0.75, and I said it in my recap. I thought he would get a 0.00 because that's what
How
he
your
deserved.
GPA 75 cents?
75. It's not even a dollar. It's not even a dollar. That's
It's not
crazy.
even a dollar. At least Nick got what 2.25 a buck 75. We
With
get
Nick's GPA, he can get one small bag of chips. I'm telling
honestly in this climate he can't.
you.
He can't. I'm so sorry. Inflation. Them chips is at least $2.
He gotta get
Two 2.13 with tax. So Nick can't get nothing. Saucy, all he can do is walk around the store and keep his hands in his pockets. He can't do nothing with that GPA.
but
When the teacher said, "I have nothing for you because this is my first time meeting you," she was very much serious. Like it wasn't funny, but the way that she just delivered that, it just gagged me so bad because she was like, "I have nothing for you because I never met you." No, but when he was like, "Oh, a D is passing at Xavier," I'm like, "What happened to aiming higher?" You know what I'm saying?
well, let me say this. Let me say
Like,
this. We will reapproach that, okay? Because like how Kendrick said in Euphoria in 8 bars, I was playing they fake. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that for the record, okay? But like, continue. We're gonna talk about that in a second.
no, I was just like, okay, but man, Saucy. My thing is how everyone in Dr. Frazier, Dr. Frazier's too nice. Cause how everyone got to be.
Okay. Oh. You want to let's talk about that. Dr. Frazier, who allegedly is a viewer of the show. We will find out hopefully when his
Dr.
episode
Frazier,
drops.
I need answers because Saucy should not have no beef. That was my first time seeing Saucy in class. I told you with the oxtail outfit on. Why he gotta be?
I said so. That was my takeaway too. So everybody got to be in that class. Saucy Santana should not have gotten the B. But here's the thing that happens, Kiya, that I totally understand. I did a project because now it's been some time. It's been I think what 5 years or it's almost 6 years. I did a senior project. I graduated fall 2019, came in fall 2015. So I had that extra semester, and there's nothing wrong with that in college.
There's
So
none.
essentially, I had a senior project. It was a mass comm project. We had to do a 30-minute TV show, and it was a group assignment.
Oh,
And
I do one of those too.
yeah, so like I was paired with a group, good folks. I was cool with them, but they were not trying to work because sometimes in our degree path, there are folks that are not trying to take this seriously because they're just playing around and they don't see that college is 4 years or more or less, and that they have to eventually graduate. Or it's folks that were science majors or were education majors. That major was too hard. So let me see what news is like. So like you got folks that don't really want to try, or hey, well, I play football. I can be like Stephen A. Smith. And it's like, it takes a little bit more to be Stephen A. Smith. But
Yeah.
but like I was paired with some folks. I thought I was paired with folks that really wanted to work. And they didn't want to work. And I did a whole entire in my younger years, Kiya, in my younger years, 6 years ago, I was built different because some of the stuff I did back then, I don't know how I did it. All right. So I did the project, Kiya, and I'm like, I know that these folks better not get no good grade. I deserve, hey, I deserve 105. Okay, these folks better not get nowhere near a 59. Okay, like because I
59
did,
is
I
crazy.
did all of the work.
You say y'all get nothing. You get nothing for me.
I shot it, I edited it, and I had a whole entire new group of people that were a part of the
Yeah.
thing. And I was told I had to put them in it. And we put them in. I had a whole segment where we put them in it. And then I get that final grade back, and I think I got an A, and they got a B. And I'm sitting back, and I'm like, how did I do all this work? And they were in one segment. They only did 5 minutes of a 30-minute broadcast, and there was more on the cutting floor, Kiya. How did they end up getting a B that perplexed me. So group
Yeah.
projects are like that. I get it. Group
Yeah.
projects are like that.
I love when professors, when you have group projects, you get graded on the work that you do, and then also your grade is determined by the grades that your other group members. Cause let someone not do no work. They were not here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You can call it snitching. I don't care because projects are hard. Working like it's hard work. So you think like you're about to get the same grade as me. I'm filming, I'm doing whatever, I'm doing research, and you sitting here eating chips. Baby, listen, no. No, because even if like, but the thing is with groups, you have to figure out who has what's everyone's strength and weakness. Because I was new to the program, I wasn't as advanced in like filming and editing. I have friends who really, so when it came to our subjects, I was the research person. So I will find this is what we're gonna do, this is the information we're gonna pull from, or blah blah blah. I'll come up with the questions if we're interviewing people. That was my job because I wasn't advanced in no editing and the camera. I got an iPhone 14. That's all you're getting out of me.
But iPhone 14 is a great camera. What do you mean? That's a great
That's
camera.
no, it's a great camera, but I'm not working no Canon X227, no Sony ZV, nothing. This little iPhone, that's all you
Now,
got.
Kai, wait a minute, Kai. We could have taught you to use a Canon T7. Now, all you can do is pick it up and press record. It'll do the rest.
Once again, it is so crazy that my like concentration is media production, so I did have to do like camera work. But ultimately, I'm an on camera person, as you can see. I'm the person who's gonna be in front of the camera. You know, it's nice to know I have some behind the camera experience, some knowledge, but that wasn't my forte. I'm meant to be the star. So I'm here for research and comedic relief. I'm here to keep the morale up, okay? Because it gets depressing. I'm here to make everyone laugh so we can get through this project. That was my job. To crack a little
Listen,
joke, research the topic that we doing. That was my job.
listen. I was like LeBron James. I did it all. I did it all like LeBron. Like everything on the court, LeBron can do. Everything on that project, I did for 30 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, filming a 30-minute segment is so hard because you just can't film 30 minutes. You have to shoot
Yeah.
so much more, and then you have to cut it all down.
And then
Oh,
on top of this, and then this is why, like what we're saying is because we understand the group project dynamic. Then Kai, you gotta understand this too. As someone that edits, so you have to learn how to edit. And at Fort Valley, our concentration media studies, so we learned all the levels of media, including PR, because they changed it because they
mhm.
wanted us to be worldly and know multiple things when we graduated. That's actually a really great idea, by the way.
I took a
So,
PR class my last semester, and I loved it.
but here's the thing. So with Premiere in 2018,
Oh,
with
Premiere,
Adobe Premiere.
I got PTSD.
Yeah, which I edit this show on. That's the industry standard on Adobe Premiere, even on an iMac that we had a whole iMac lab at Fort Valley. It
Hmm.
took so long for a 30-minute
Hours,
project. Took so long back in
hours,
2018.
hours. And don't let the video not render correctly. And don't let
Yeah, and then
you be there.
you make one mistake, you got to go back and then read, then take it out, and then wait
Yeah.
2-3 hours. Like, and mind you, it's quicker now. I will say that it is quicker now. I got this new MacBook that I'm currently on right now. It's a little bit different. So, but like it was wild. So that was why I was upset that like I had to go through all of this, and they got this beat. So that's why I know for me, from my experience, that's why I was like, why does Saucy Santana not have a 0.00? Because he did not deserve nowhere near a B. Because here's the reason why I know he didn't deserve a B. Because and Dr. Frazier, if he watches this, if that actually is him, I'm saying allegedly till we know it's him. Like if Dr. Frazier actually does and did watch this, I want to know if Saucy actually did say anything impactful. Because like Tamar had to go to the show. Saucy was not in solo class. Saucy says, "I only missed one day." Tamar says that
I
he
said,
missed
why you
three.
gonna sit here and lie?
Gaslighting. And Tamar said,
Why
"Oh,
you gonna sit here and lie? We have 5 other episodes of you not in class, so that's you miss at least one class per episode. So that's at least 5.
And then on top of that, like we know he did go to Dr. Frazier's class that time and he went to sleep. We do know that. So I
Because he
guess
was snoring.
that wasn't something that was points taken away. Dr. Frazier's a better man than me because he would have got F
And,
just for that alone. And F
and
just for that. And it would have been, why I got an F? Hey, I got video footage of you sleeping in class and you snoring. Like so it's like, come on, like I
should have gave you a Z for all that snoring.
like I and then here's my thing. And I don't want to we've talked about so many great things today. I don't want to revert back to last week and the week before last and all of my recaps and talk about how Saucy Santana does not care about his experience. And Claudia even validated it in her confessional. But he does not care because
He doesn't.
Saucy was there He literally has a 0.75 and he's laughing. And then they're like, this is not a joke. This isn't funny. And here's the thing, and this is me, I guess, trying to show my mass comm education. This is a transition. I thought that Saucy Santana would have acted how Angela White did, because Angela White crashed out. She crashed
Yes, she
out.
did. She definitely crashed out. But it's so funny because it's just like, Saucy know he don't be coming to class. So when Claudia brought up the fact that she emailed the teacher and asked if Saucy does not do his work, can you do the thing on Nick? He act like he was so shocked that the teacher even act like that. So once some Claudia's around us are, sir, you don't come to class. And we want to make sure that everyone gets whatever the assignment was, that everyone is able to participate or able to get their section in the newspaper. You're not reliable. So it's not even Claudia being around us. It's the fact that they know she worked. They cannot count on you. They couldn't even count on you to come to a Mardi Gras parade where there was no real work involved. Just enjoy yourself.
And then they're
You couldn't even
celebrities.
do that.
They're celebrities, and they were gonna get celebrated anyway. Like literally, like they were there being celebrated.
Yeah, he couldn't even do that. He was at home, asleep.
Like it.
Maybe he got insomnia.
He like he Saucy Santana. I'm just so done with Saucy Santana because I think I was wrong on last week, not about Saucy, but about the episode count, because I think that there might be 8 episodes, because I said it was 5 episodes left. I think it might be 8, because they're confronting final exams next week. So I admit when I'm wrong, okay? Because I said, when you said how many episodes is it, I said 5 at the top of the show. I think now we're at 2 episodes. This is episode 6, so episode 7 and episode 8, and then I think graduation might be episode 8. So I think I was wrong on that. But like, I'm just so tired of
I have an idea too. I
Like,
think after we cover all the episodes and then we went to like a bonus episode because Dr. Frazier watches the show, I feel like he'd be a great guest.
oh, you putting that out there? If he can talk about it, there's certain stuff. He's a professor, so he can't talk about certain stuff. If he wanted to come on, listen,
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
just an insight because we always hear about the celebrities and their experience, but I always wonder for the professors, how is it like teaching a celebrity? Because you might have someone in there that you're a fan of. Imagine me being a professor, and for whatever reason, Beyonce feel like she want to keep it real, and she at a school and I'm her teacher. The way I'm saying, Miss Knowles, do you mind staying after class? And she's like, oh, what I do? Go ahead and sign this. Go ahead and sign this.
But at the same time, I feel like Beyonce would take it seriously.
She would.
I just feel as if, like, when you look at these celebrities, I think that some of them took it seriously and some of them didn't. And this is sort of my thing when it came to Angela. I expected Angela to possibly be a sneaky valedictorian pick. Angela's the only person that I've ever seen in my 22-year education journey, because I'm 27. So I mean, I got 5 years pre-K and all different stuff like that. My 22-year roughly education journey, that was upset they got a 2.7. I'm giving all of the stories. Kyle, let me tell you this, Kyle. I display myself as a very intelligent person. I try to be. I try to be well read, try to be well spoken, all the different things, Kyle. I've never failed a class. I got close one time in 10th grade. I got one question right. Like math, it's math. Sometimes I come within the class, Kyle, one question, and I'll be in there. But it was a class, and I'm gonna say the professor. I'm gonna say the professor because it's not anything personal against him. But it was professor at Fort Valley. His name is Mark Smith, and that's not his full name, but that's his last name. Mark Smith. He is synonymous at Fort Valley with having very challenging classes that most people fail. And
I have a teacher like that too.
Yeah. So in orientation, my freshman year, we talked about how, like, hey, like, dudes and don'ts of freshman year. They said, don't take Mark Smith. It was a huge joke, a huge big old thing. Listen, you will fail his class. It don't matter how smart you are. Whoop de whoop. And then literally, it was almost like a tradition. One of the traditions we had as orientation leader. We passed that down. Listen, dude, if you do not have to take Mark Smith, do not take Mark Smith. If you have him, you might want to drop that class because his class is tough. And I actually landed in his class. And I'm smart. I'm intelligent. It's 2016 election going on, so I'm showing up my political knowledge and all this stuff like that. I'm ready. It's like American history, all this different stuff. And I'm in there listening. I'm sitting front. I'm taking notes, all the different things. And you got 4 tests. You got 4 of them. Failed all 4. And then if your phone go off, Kiya, pop quiz. If your phone goes off or if someone comes in late, you have a pop quiz. And the man's so smart, he says the questions off of the top of his head. Yes, he just says off top. So literally, it was one time, I think I need to go on this one. I studied. And I failed. So I literally failed every test in that man's class. I was about to drop his class. I talked to my dad about it. My dad said, Barnes men don't quit. And I was like, you right.
I'm sorry. I would have said, boo, boo, forget you. I'm in this class. Because don't piss me off. I would have said, well, I might not be a Barnes today because I'm not in
But I listened, and I didn't quit, and I failed. And Kiya, I kid you not, on everything that I love, that is the only class from like daycare to me walking
Wow.
across that stage in college. I'm not going to grad school yet or ever. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, or
But
ever.
but like that's the only class that I've ever failed. And you want to know what the crazy thing about it is? You want to know what the crazy thing about it? And listen to this commentary. You knowing me for almost a year at this point and working with me, I reacted almost like Saucy. It was funny to me. I'm like, I really felt this class. That's crazy. My parents were
No,
upset.
it's just like you really be there in disbelief. And I had a teacher like that. Granted, I didn't fail his class, but them first 3 weeks, he had me bent. But mind you, I've had this professor before, and it's like you ever watch those sitcoms and they say, "Oh, Mr. So and So was here today," and you hear dun dun dun. That's how I felt. Like when I tell you, me talking about that professor was a theme in my therapy sessions for months, all the way until the end of the semester. Because I'm gonna say his name because he's it's crazy. Dr. Tickton, Dr. Tickton, if you went to NSU and you were immediately, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is the professor that my professor, Dr. Marsh, had when he was in school. Because he went to NSU as well. Dr. Tickton is one of the hardest professors I've ever had in my life because he's so particular, about the things that he wants. So, like for this class, it was like a seminar class. So basically, we had him once a week. In every class, we had to write a paper. It can be about he would give us a general topic, and we could pick anything within the topic. It can be between 2 to 20 pages, but how he wanted it like grammatically it has to be a certain way. So I'm writing the first paper. I'm thinking, oh, I'm about to eat this paper up. It's something that I enjoy talking about. When I got my paper back and I saw a 73, I was like, whose paper is this? And it was not mine. So I'm like, okay, next time I'll do better. Got my paper back again the following week. I saw 75. I said, whose paper is this? Because this cannot be my paper. Third time, I got another 70. Cause like I think at the halfway point by midterms, if you didn't have at least a C, you have to drop the class, or if you had a C by midterm, because in grad school you can't get C's, you had to drop the class. I said, oh yeah, we're gonna stick a pin in this. I marched to Dr. Marsh's office and I complained. He's like, Ms. Robinson, it's gonna be okay. I'm like, Dr. Marsh, no. What is his problem? I said their offices were right across the hall from each other. I said, Dr. Marsh, go talk to your homeboy. Because what is his problem? You were late turning in any assignment, automatically 50% off. And the thing about it was because we were like in a lecture hall too, and then for the other class that I had him for, and then for this class, it was kind of like a boardroom setting. He talked. He didn't write anything, and I'm a visual learner. So I'm just like, I don't know what he's talking about. And then I'm just like, I just started recording the classes. I would have my iPad there, just started recording the classes, and then whatever I had to do, I would just go back and listen because it was just, I honestly said, if I could handle being in his class my whole like graduate, school career, I can handle any person, any tough boss in the real world because honestly, Dr. Tickton, and honestly, once you're out his class, he's the nicest little old man. But it's just like he just don't take no mess. I said never again. It takes a strong person, cause like the track I was on, like I said, okay, the first C, not your best. The second C, by the time I got to my third C, I say, yeah, Dr. Tipton, we're gonna have to figure something out because I'm not feeling your class because I'm not taking you again because he was the only person to teach this class. I was laughing like I'm just like you said like I really feel this class. I just kept on laughing because I'm like I know this isn't my paper. I know this is not my third C. I said, yeah, so I'm just gonna have to get figured out because if not, you and me, we're gonna have a problem because I can't do this.
I think that both of our experiences in having challenging classes, or in my case, failing my only class ever in my educational career, we're not just rambling here. What we're trying to say within our experience is that we have been in a similar position to Angela White. But I don't think from your story and from mine, I don't think we reacted like Angela did because and this is my girl. Okay, I love Angela. Angela's one of my favorite characters. But Angela acted a fool. And the thing I want to go back to, like Kendrick did in Euphoria, okay, it's not been 8 bars. It's been like 1,000 bars since I said that thing. But like, listen, C's get degrees in your bachelor's journey. That's what I was taught at Fort Valley. C's get degrees. So if you have a 2.7, you have a 2.7, and there's only 4 people that are higher than you, and you are a whole 1 point higher than Nick, and multiple points higher than Saucy. I'm just trying to figure out why she was so upset. And the thing about it is, I get it. And I talked about this in the recap, is that I think that there's a bit of perfectionism that she was dealing with. And I deal with it as well. And like, I think that she was putting a lot of pressure on herself to really be good here because you see within her story with the season that she takes this college situation seriously because she's trying to shed the Black China character that she sort of has displayed in the persona that she displayed, and it's trying to be Angela White. And I think that realistically, I can't speak for her experience. I'm not Jocelyn. But like I put it in there. But like I can't speak for her experience. You're like,
Your
you're hilarious.
face. Your
But
face.
but I can't speak for her experience. But I really think that this is for her, sort of her unlocking and shedding that Black China character and unlocking Angela White, and her getting the 2.7 when she's been present, when she's participated, and all these different things. I think that for her, that was what really upset her. But I think that Angela has to understand, and this is where those previews come in. What Angela has to understand is that for all of these classes, she was there, but she wasn't present because you look at her breakdown. So, a B in political science, okay, a B in philosophy. She was upset about that because she felt as if, and I think was told, and we got to go back and look, that if her team won a debate, that's automatic A. I can understand her being upset about that. Converge media, she'd be happy she got a B because I probably would have
Yeah,
given her a C because she
because
walked out
she,
of the class
yeah,
that first assignment. And then
and I,
Mardi
yeah,
Gras history, she got a C. And she, remember we talked about last week, she couldn't use PowerPoint. So her and Nick couldn't
yeah.
use PowerPoint. And that was something that sort of was directly a part of, I think, why
It
she
was a
got the
part,
grade.
yeah, and I honestly feel like for Angela, and I get it because it's crazy. It talks about perfectionism in therapy today as well. You know, today's just one of those days where everything's just connected together. But as someone who thrives on doing well academically, meaning myself, I definitely understand wanting to get certain grades. But something I had to learn throughout my academic career is that even if I try my best at something and I'm putting my best foot forward, sometimes I simply won't get those results because some concepts are hard to grasp than others. Like you said, you're not a math person. Neither am I. I've never had a failing grade in math. But if I got a C in math, but I know I tried my absolute hardest, it's above me now. Because I know I tried my best, but this is what resulted from me trying my best. So it's like I definitely understand thinking you just wanting better grades, but they also have to understand is that you simply can't being present in class when you get a syllabus, right? They break down tests are worth this much, homework is worth this much, projects are worth this much, and the attendance is normally like 5-10%. You simply just can't show up. I heard a lot in like once everyone got their grades, but I showed up and I showed up. And Nick was like, they don't care if you're nice. I said, baby, if grades were based on my personality, I would have been valedictorian, all the Torians, would have had all the honors because that's just who I am. But it's about the work that you do. You can't get no grade for having a shining personality. You just can't show up to class and think you're automatically going to get an A. Unless it's simply one of those classes where your professor's like, just show up, engage in class, you'll get an A. And I think what the professor said as far as like their debate, I think he meant if you won the debate, you'll get an automatic A on their midterm, right? So I think for that specific midterm, like people don't understand midterm grades isn't just the test, the final test, the project, whatever. It's your grades throughout the whole semester. So they might have gotten an A for that one assignment, but there was some maybe like lacking in other areas. So, but watching her, like I definitely get why she reacted the way that she did because she's really trying her best to really, like you said, shed the skin of her being Black China. So she's trying to turn over this new leaf of her, you know, behaving a certain way and doing certain things. But it's still a struggle, especially with anything that you do. You're not automatically going to be great at the first time. So I think for her, she just has to understand, well, granted, it's over now, that even though as long as she's trying her best, and it's just midterms, it's not the end of the semester. Because let me tell you something, if midterm grades determine the grades that you finish with, I wouldn't have no degree. I done had some F's at midterms. I done had some D's at midterm. By the time final grades came out, A's, B's, because I was able to work and to, all right, this is what I have to do for the second half of the semester and really put my grades up. So I definitely understand her frustration, but she can't let, like, anytime I've learned, like, I've just learned, just not with school, that anytime that things don't go my way in that exact moment or the first time doesn't mean that it's necessarily the end. If I have the space and opportunity to better myself and learn from this, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, this was final grades. I would definitely understand her being a little bit more upset, but it's just midterms. Like you do what you do. You say, okay, this is where I am at this point, and how can I make myself better in the second half? Like I said, now they realize they can like email professors and all the other stuff. Do office hours, like I said, but I also feel like for them there are things that could have been avoided, like you mentioned, like the butterfly effect. If they simply would just put a little bit more effort and wasn't really so dense, because you can easily Google, like we said last week, how to use PowerPoint. Because you didn't take the extra initiative to learn how to use PowerPoint, now you have a C in the class. You weren't using your full potential then because you just chalked it up to I don't know. You didn't even try to learn or go above and beyond to figure it out. You're just like, well, I don't know. This is what I got. So you can't, if you really want to make good grades, you can't have that attitude because it's so many things that I don't know, that I didn't know, that I had to ask someone or I had to look it up and figure it out on my own. And then I was able to apply what I learned and then and then yield the grades that I wanted it to.
Listen, what I'll say is that you can Google how to use PowerPoint or just attend fifth grade at this point. Like,
Attending fifth grade is just so, that's just so nasty to me. I'm just like, no, because we really were using PowerPoint in fifth grade.
but listen, it seems as if we are almost done with this College Hill experience. And I think, like I said, I think we have 2 episodes left. I think it's an 8 episode season. I was wrong on last week saying it was 5. But I'm interested in what happens next week. I'm interested in the voter registration situation. I think
Mm-hmm.
that'll be fun. And I'm also interested in Dr. Peyton Stewart, who's the provost and the advisor for the celebrities. She wants to see Saucy. And once again, like this whole entire thing of, oh, he's in a music class now. He understands now. I just, Dr. Peyton Stewart, I know this has already happened, but if I can go back in time, I'll just let you know to kick him out. Kick him out. Kick him out for the good of America.
But you know what's crazy? He doesn't even know why she wants to see him. From what we saw, she could be saying, you know, it seems like you've made a complete 180 since the last time. Keep up the good work. But I feel like because he knows he's not doing what he's supposed to do, that she's gonna somehow reprimand him for his behavior. She's probably gonna say, "Oh, we're not doing this on the third." You don't know why she's calling you to her office. You're just like, "I'm not gonna go." Well, you're not gonna graduate. How about that?
Oh, that'd be amazing. Like Saucy Santana in street clothes, while the rest of them in they cap and gown. That'd be amazing. And that'll just be that'll advance higher education 10 years. Okay, I'm telling you that much. It would advance higher education and the mission. You know what? Trump might not shut down HBCUs with his judges if Saucy Santana don't graduate. If he graduates, we in trouble. Okay, if he graduates and Trump wins, we in trouble. But listen, if Saucy Santana, he gets kicked out this program for disrespecting his provost, he's thinking, like you said this a few weeks ago. He thinks he's on Love and Hip Hop. This is an educated woman, probably with a family and hard working.
Degrees around the wall.
Yeah,
like every time I see Saucy Santana interact with anyone like in authority, it reminds me of that Roland Ray video when he was on Judge Lance Toller, and he's like, "My apologies, Miss Girl." No, it was the other guy. He's like, "It's my apologies, Miss Girl." And she was like, "Miss who?" And Roland Ray's like, "She's not a girl. It's Miss Toller." And she's like, "It's Judge Toller. Be quiet. I got a question."
That is your favorite clip. You didn't say that 5 times. You said that 5 times on the episode.
It reminds me so much of like Santana because it's just like this lady is a doctor of something, and you calling her boo.
And then what? This
is not Carly Red. Like, please.
And then like I just don't understand what she did to warrant that. Like she did nothing.
She didn't do anything. That's just how he is. Like you said, he thinks he's Love and Hip Hop. You cannot call your professor boo.
Listen, I just like listen, Kiya says the Miss Toller thing every episode, but I say I say this every episode. When we cast next year, okay, and I say I'm almost a part of this now, okay. When we cast next year,
that's one. I'll tell you how it's done. I'll tell you how it's done.
But like when we do this next year, BET, okay, because y'all had me scared when the episode didn't drop. Okay, when we do this next year, BET, I need you to get celebrities that want to be a part of this. They can struggle. They can be on. This is a lot of work. They can do all of those different things. But 2 things, please do 2 things for me, BET, and then we'll be done. 2 things. Number 1, pick celebrities that want to be there. And number 2, whatever the final verdict of this season is, do not bring Saucy Santana to talk to none of them students in the future. Don't bring him. Don't even think about him. Don't even think about him. Don't even think about him. Bring somebody else. Bring Carlos to the College Hill VSU Part 2 or whatever. Listen. Ooh, I don't know.
That would be so fire. That would be too fire.
Don't like Saucy Santana when he is done here. 2 people I never want to see on College Hill Celebrity Edition ever again. It is a flashback. When we saw the flashback when Big Freddie came. Ray J and Saucy Santana. I need them far away. I need them. And also Jocelyn. No, don't bring Jocelyn back. Jocelyn hurt you. Okay. So don't bring her back. But anyway. Jocelyn will hurt your inner child and your adult self too. Say that much.
Inner child and adult self is so You're really on one today. I think it's Friday. What time is it? It's not 7 p.m., but it for sure is 95 degrees. You're on one. You're on one. I know when you're getting off, you're probably going to go outside. Yeah.
I'm not going to go outside. No, I'm not.
He said, I'm going outside. Because you real spicy this episode.
Oh, my God. Hey, listen, I can't go outside. We got work. We got work to handle. We got work to complete. But listen, Kiya, this was really fun. This was a great episode of our Recap of College Hill Celebrity Edition. Where can we find your work and how can we follow you on social media?
Of course, you can find my work on Clutch Points, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, X, YouTube, Pinterest, I'm on there too. You can follow me at Kiya on Fire, and yeah. So
Let's search MySpace too. She might be there.
you know what's crazy? I never had MySpace.
Oh, you did? Oh
My
my
mama
God.
wasn't playing that social media stuff.
And I feel
So
it. I feel it.
the
Listen.
first thing I had was a Facebook.
Man, listen.
The first thing I had was a Facebook. My mom was not playing that social media stuff.
Man, listen. We on that note, we gotta go.
Told you, my mom ain't play. So
we will see y'all next week. My God.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to HBCUPulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.